Young, the Dean, for giving a very interesting introduction. Some of the things which I have done in my professional career. So today I'm going to present, my topic is COVID-19 experience towards a multidimensional approach to pandemic resilience in Jamaica. This presentation will be very short. It is based on the experience which we have encountered in the past 1 month in Jamaica and worldwide. So it is basically, the intention is just to ignite a discussion or a debate for scholars and professional personnel across the island. My presentation will be based on, this is the sequence of my presentation basically. I'll first give an introduction, the definition, the types of pandemics, the health, I'll talk a little bit about the health sector, and then the depravation trap, and a little bit of a cross-sectoral focus, and then give an example of an agricultural sector, and then finally the conclusion. To start with, as I say, the main thrust of this presentation is based on the fact that COVID-19 has unraveled the weak link among sectors and aroused the necessity for pandemic preparedness to be achieved through cross-sectoral policies, planning, and actions that produce resilient communities. And this is quite obvious because in the shortest time which we have experienced this calamity, a lot of gaps across sectors have been revealed, and therefore a need to rethink and may probably have a new thinking and prepare a new model of approach to overcome certain effects of pandemics in future. Well, definitionally, a pandemic is an epidemic occurring worldwide or over a very wider area, crossing international boundaries and usually affecting a larger number of people. And now it is important to note that in this 21st century, pandemic related to infectious diseases is basically influenced much by globalization and the climate change. What are the types of there are different types of pandemics, and there are several scholars who have even more than 3, but I have just picked the 3 of them. First of all, you have pandemics related to infectious diseases. For example, the one we are confronting now with, which is COVID-19, Zika, Spanish influenza, etc. And then you have non-communicable diseases, which are, for example, diabetes, obesity, and heart complications, etc. And then you have the pandemic of depravation, right? Pandemic of social depravation. And these are the critical pandemics, basically, which goes hand in hand and complicated the matter in terms of try to find solutions to overcome this existing pandemic infectious disease, which is COVID-19. Now, here we are talking about the health sector, which in many instances, to a larger extent, its operation this is a sector centered. It is a sector centered, but COVID-19 provides the need for the health sector to be more than ever before, to incorporate feedback from other sectors in terms of policies and programs for action. I'm not saying that there is no interconnection within the other sectors, but I think the current situations arose the interest and the push to incorporate all sectors in fighting this particular pandemic of COVID-19. Now, we come now to this particular issue, the depravation trap, which basically is the depravation pandemic. Now, you can see these several causal relationships. Here you have 5 clusters, but there can be more. You can discuss about it and you can have more. It all depends on the situation at a given time, in a given space. So they have several causal relationships, which in their negative sense are interlocked, like a web to trap people in their depravation. And this depravation trap is a pandemic depravation which hinders resilience, to overcome shocks and the stress among communities. And this particular concept is very, very important because without reducing inequality which exists within societies, including our society here, it is very difficult to sustain resilience of communities in fighting various forms of pandemics. So, COVID-19 has ignited the prevailing weaknesses of sectors and how they are interrelated with the health sector, right? So, and this is obvious, of course. If we look, for example, in the rural areas, you can see how the education system is so, to a greater extent, is so weak. I mean, it is not spread enough to the most disadvantaged communities in the rural areas. And it also showed weaknesses in terms of physical infrastructure. It also shows the problem of poor settlement development, which the previous speaker mentioned about, which accentuates the spread of infectious diseases. It shows of loss of jobs, that is labor, and all that are very, very important. So it puts the society in stress. And that is because these sectors are not, they don't function in a coordinated manner. And therefore, having the health sector in the middle, we can see the consequences. But out of that, we can also talk a little bit of an example of an agricultural sector. All right? Pandemics, but the COVID-19 have sparked the interest for food security and the nutritional security. But also, it has brought into our attention the nature of our food system, which is essentially, mainly, is of what? It is of vertical integration. That's the last one, the vertical integration. It is vertically integrated, meaning we consume a lot of food from the north, from the industrialized countries. But what we need is basically to focus more on horizontal integration, the food we produce here, right, which are more nutritious, which from various studies which have been done, is better than the food which we import to sustain our nutritional values and to overcome certain diseases. For example, the second pandemic which I spoke about, which is non-infectious, for example, diabetes and heart attack and the others. So the food system, meaning the food from the table within the country itself, Jamaica, the circulation of that is extremely important. I know because there are some ingenious activities which are going on now, like the farmers market. That is part of it. So this has aroused a lot of interest on how to do things, and the people now are realizing that our foods are better than the foods we import. So that is very, very important. Now, in conclusion, COVID-19 experience has unraveled the missing link of sectors and the need for a cross-sectoral approach to attain desired results of the functions of the health sector. So in addition, there is an important leadership opportunity for the health sector to champion and bridge this cross-sectoral gap. Because now we can see that the health sector by itself cannot work it by itself. There must be a cross-sectoral interlinkages. And the cross-sectoral approach will also enable us to prepare for multiple uncertainty or unknown threats. Thank you for listening.